region and all those you are
Only
aware of?
first. Yeah.
Hypervisor stuff, have you attended both? I think currently you both are
No.
there, right?
After that, the 2 classes I missed it.
Okay, so now like a first session was this cloud computing basics, and second session was like we tried to create a virtual instance. Okay, and
Okay.
it was like Windows based, and third demo was like Linux based, launching a Linux based instance.
Okay. Yeah, done.
It's the Azure certification path. So initially for one second. Okay, this is the Azure certification path actually. So initially, right, for everything, right, AZ 900 is the basic. Okay, this is the Azure fundamentals exam. So if you take any stream, either it can be like a AZ 204 or like a administrator. Okay, AZ 104, and this is the security AZ 500. Okay, and AZ 303. So the initial certification would be like AZ 900. Okay, if you are like uh, clearing this, right, you will be having some fundamental knowledge on the Azure. Once completing this, right, you can take any path. Either you can take this developing solutions for Microsoft Azure, that AZ 204, and it can be like 104, which is like a administrator. Okay, and there will be one more thing called like AZ 500, which is the security technologies. Okay, Azure security technologies, and this is AZ 303. So we are discussing this one. So if you learn this, right, then you will be having some 70% knowledge on this one, 70 to 80%. Oh, sorry, 70 to 82% on the like Azure administration. Syllabus would be same for this one and this one. Okay, monitoring will be more in this. Okay, if you cover more of AD, right, in 303, then it will solve the purpose. Okay, so someone was asking, right, what about this certification? This is a certification path. You can directly write 303, or you can go with AZ 900. For any Azure certification, right, AZ 900 or like 900, right, that is the fundamental. Okay, if you take this one, no, AI, okay, AI 900. So, and everything is optional over here, like means you can directly go to any of the certification in the second row. Okay, it is first is optional, directly you can take the second certification, or if you want, you can take this certification along with this one. It's up to you. This is on the certification. Someone join. Okay, is this your first class, like Jason?
Yes, first class.
Okay, we'll wait for 2-3 minutes. Okay, meanwhile, if you have any doubts, you can ask. Okay, actually I was clearing the doubts. Okay.
Okay.
Hi, hello.
Yeah.
Sir, can I ask a question?
Yeah, please.
Regarding the certification,
Yes.
hello.
Yeah, I'm hearing. You tell me.
Yeah, regarding certification, can you open that certification disturbance?
You want to see the certification part?
Yeah, certification.
Yeah,
So there is a AZ 900,
AZ 900. Yeah,
AZ 900, and there is a AC 900 and the AZ 303.
yes. This one we will be discussing. It won't be basic. Okay, so the thing is like if you discuss this one, right? If you go through this course, right? So you will get some 70 to 80% of this one also. Okay, if you know monitoring, so everything is in here. Can you go on mute, please?
I'm getting disturbances, sir.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, you
Hear
can go
your
on.
voice.
I think there is no issue from my end.
So
Can you?
in the initially starting period, we should start with AZ303 or something else.
No, no. The thing is like every certification has its own like pros and cons. Okay, so if you go
Mm.
to this certification, no AZ 500, right? They will talk more on AD and authentication and all those stuff. You can't directly go to this one. Okay, maybe like if you have this
Mm.
architect, right? This will give a base on complete architecture and all those. So this one will give you only on the security stuff. Got it? So
Okay.
so you will be having some enhanced security features, no? Those will be
Sure,
covered in
sure.
AZ 500.
Mm.
Okay.
And
So
for
if you go to this
admin
admin
system
400, right?
administrator.
Yeah, Azure System Administrator. So the difference between AZ 303 and 104 is like 70 to 80% of the syllabus would be same. Okay, mostly they will concentrate on monitoring and AD much. If you prepare AD a bit extra, right?
Mm.
Azure AD, then it will cover, the course will cover both. If you take SysOps
So
administrator, like AWS SysOps administrator or like solution architect as well, in AWS also 70 to 80% of the course would be same. Only like small variance would be like 10 to 15%.
okay. So in the organization, yeah, you just need to like create a VDI. So
Yeah, that
these things
those
will be
things will
covered
be
in.
covered everywhere. Okay, those will be covered everywhere. Okay, those are very basic.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that is very basic. But initially, this is the requirement. That's why.
Mm, mm, mm. So what is your doubt actually? So you are trying to create a VM. That's fine. So what is your doubt there?
No, actually, I have to learn the create VDI process of creation. How to create
Yeah, that will be
if
covered
I
your
have to assign just a
that will
basic
be
idea, not
uh,
more.
yeah, that is very basic. Okay, and creating a
Hmm.
VM. Okay, we have much more. Okay, I think we have required audience. Like we have some. Okay, then
So
I can.
can we
Any
get the
doubts?
content of this?
Yes,
Can
yes,
we get
I
the
can.
content of this level?
Yeah, 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 sure, sure. Okay, like I will explain that first. I will explain like what is cloud and all those. Then I will explain like what will be covered. Okay,
Right.
instead
Okay.
of directly going to Q&A, we'll take Q&A after like half an hour or something.
Okay.
So today, right, I won't go much into that cloud computing basics like what is infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and all those. So we'll go to some practical stuff. Okay, this stuff we can take in like in the future classes. That will be like half an hour or something. I don't want to like be like more theory or okay.
So this is your first class today, or it's like a
Yeah, yeah,
demo
yeah.
class?
It's like it's a demo class. Okay, you
Okay.
will get everything. Just a second. Yeah, I will present. Let me present the screen. Okay, we'll start with what is cloud computing. Okay, cloud computing is very simple. Okay, cloud computing means in your on-premises what happens, right? Your company will maintain the infrastructure. Okay, if you are having some 10 projects running in your company, like you will be have a dedicated teams like for maintaining the like on-premises servers. So whatever you have on in your office, that is called as on-premises. Whatever is not present in your on-premises is called as cloud. In simple means, so if you want to maintain your infrastructure on premises, right, you need some admins, you need some networking team, you need some OS team, like Linux experts, or you need some networking team. Okay, and these are all required. Okay, when we move to cloud, right, what happens, right? When we move to cloud, what happens, right? These all these activities which is being done by the admin. Okay, by different types of admin, like network admin, or like it can be a like a storage admin, or it can be or like Linux admin, okay, or Windows admin. These can be performed in cloud by the third party vendor. Okay, the third party vendor can be like anyone, like he would be the cloud provider. Okay, so the cloud provider can be like Microsoft, or Azure, sorry, Microsoft, or AWS, or like Google Cloud, or Oracle Cloud. Okay, so you can have this cloud provider. If you take the this one, no, like definition, cloud computing is on demand availability of the computer resources, okay, like data storage, computing power, okay, without direct active management by the user. Means you won't actually what you won't be involved, okay, in like creating the infrastructure and all those. That will be maintained by the third party. Okay, so others definition is like using the resources built by someone. Okay, the someone is something like Azure, means Microsoft, or AWS, or GCP, via web-based tool, or it can be a CLI, or it can be a like SDK. Okay, so using the computing resources by some other means over internet. Okay, either web-based or SDK or CLI. That is called cloud computing. Basically, in simple, if I want to say, right, whatever the tasks that are being by the done by the core admins, right, that will be eliminated, and that will be like handled by the cloud provider. Okay, so previously, if you take the work, the like a role of an employee. Okay, if you are a, there will be different roles, right? There will be like admin, there will be a developer, and there will be a tester, right? So basically, previously, if you take some 10 years before cloud, right, how it used to be, right? Admin used to provide the infrastructure for running your application. Means he will give you some IP address, and in that application you will be deploying your code or your application. Okay, that is before cloud. After cloud, what happens, right? Developer itself, okay, will create his virtual machine, okay, and he will deploy his application basically. Okay, so he will deploy his application and he will use it. So admin is restricted for the monitoring, even though he will do some part like access controlling and all those stuff, but base core like creation of virtual machines and those will be handled by the developer team as well, along with the admin team. That would be the role shift. Okay, so as I mentioned, no, in on premises you will be having like multiple applications, data, runtime, okay, middleware, operating system, virtualization, server, storage, and networking. So there is something like you manage and vendor manages. So what happens, right, when you go to infrastructure as a service, this complete stack I told, you know, like core admin job, like networking, storage, servers, and virtualization, this will be maintained by the cloud provider. Okay, this will be maintained by the cloud provider. And so the development team or testing team or other people, right, they will be involved in, they will be, their job will be starting from spinning the OS. Okay, they will be selecting the operating system, they will be like installing their runtime, and they will be installing the applications. Whereas when you go to platform as a service, what will happen, right, you will even this part, right, the runtime also will be provided by the application. Means if you are deploying one application in Tomcat, Okay, so in on-premises you have to do everything right from scratch. When you go to infrastructure as a service, no, just you will select the operating system and you will choose your runtime environment and you will deploy your application. Whereas when you go to platform as a service, right, what happens, right, you no need to bother about the even runtime also. If you want runtime, just to select that runtime. Like I want OS like a Linux with Java 8 version, or Linux with Windows with Java 8. Okay, like that, what will happen, right? You will select your operating system, like operating runtime. You will select the required runtime, and you will just deploy your jars. Okay, you will just deploy your jars, and you will use the application. That is the platform as a service. Software as a service means very simple. Okay, till now it is more specific for the product based companies. Okay, so for service it won't be like I can't correlate. If it is a software based application, no, so I'm a Zira. Okay, let us assume like I'm having some ticketing system like Zira. In on-premises, no, I have to buy Zira software and I have to install everything, like right from networking to application. Whereas when I go to infrastructure as a service, no, so I will take one VM from the AWS, sorry, Azure or AWS, and what I will do, right, I will select the operating system and I will install runtime, and I will install my Zira. Okay, whereas when you go to operating like a platform as a service, I will just install my Zira application by selecting the runtime. Okay, here what I will do, right, in software as a service, now the custom, if I sell some my product to my customer, so they are doing either they are installing on premises, or they are selecting one OS, or they are selecting in some runtime and they are doing. But when I go to software as a service, what I will do, right, I will create a VM for them. Okay, I will only create one VM. I will sell the VM to them in simple. Okay, if they want to use Zira software, now I will spin one instance. I will tell like Zira software, and it is licensed base. If you use it for like 24 hours, you will be charged 24 hours. Like that, I will be putting some like pricing model for that, and I will sell this VM. Okay, so this example is like more relevant, like if you are into the product based company. There will be some other examples as well, like Google, even if you say the Gmail and all those, no, those are also software as a services. But realistically, if you want to say like what is software as a service means, I am developing one software. Okay, I'm selling it as a service. Okay, if you take GoToMeeting, so if you are paying for GoToMeeting, it is a software as a service, because customer will be only using it, no, they won't maintain. At the end of the day, customer won't maintain the software. Okay, he will just get one URL and he will use it. Okay, so infrastructure as a service, right, it deals with servers, storage, networking, and data center. Means starting from data center and physical, like building or like plant or whatever, right? So if you have that physical building, like you should have some like firewall security, and you should have some storage. So if you provide these things, it is infrastructure as a service. When you add two other components, like if you put your runtime as well as the operating system, okay, then it will be a platform as a service. So if you just host an application and give to the customer, right, just they will use it. They won't bother about like what is underlined. But if you host an application or app and directly give some IP and ask him to use it, no, that is the software as a service. Okay, so we'll go with directly this one. Okay, we'll go with Azure Global Infrastructure. So first, what is Azure? Okay, Azure, like Azure is the like one of the cloud that is provided by the Microsoft. So how this is organized basically? When you say cloud, right, its presence is everywhere. So how we have to split it? We have to split basically according to the geographical area. Means if I am launching one instance, first question I will like ask is like, whenever I launch an application, okay, I have to launch it somewhere. Okay, in cloud means it should have some physical location. Me, okay, and that physical location would be one data center which is maintained by the Azure. Okay, so there are around like 60 regions. So these are all regions basically. So whatever you are seeing in blue, right, those are the regions. Azure is having around like 60 regions. One second. Okay. So if you see, right, it is having around like 60 plus regions. Okay. So whatever you are seeing, these are the regions. And if you see, right, there are some dot lines which are connected. Okay. So there are some lines there. So each region will have some data centers. Okay. If I say in India, there is something like India South, India, like India North. Okay. Something like that. We are having some regions. If I say India South means its present is in the India South, which has some one or more data centers. Okay, whenever you create a virtual machine in India South, what will happen, right? It is going to create in the some physical data center. Okay, and here if you see, right, one data center and another data center are connected via some Azure backbone network. Means if I want to transfer the data from here to here, right, you should have some internet. No, basically this internet or these lines are dedicated to Azure. Okay, no other traffic will be flown. Okay, so here you will have some, yeah, if you see, right, it has around like 1,65,000 miles, okay, of fiber optic being laid under the sea to support this backbone network. Okay, that's why what will happen, right, you will be having a high bandwidth and low latency. If I want to transfer from data from here to here, right, US to India, there will be less latency and you will be having the higher bandwidth because this Azure will take care of the maintaining this infrastructure. Okay, so there are around like 100 Gbps lines. Okay, and it is has having some 185 like global networks. Okay, so so normally the data center would be like looking like this. Okay. Uh, okay. One more thing, right? Here I mentioned like you are having like multiple data centers in global network. I showed you these are like multiple regions. Actually, if I log into this Azure, if I type something like Azure, so these are the services that are being provided by the Azure. So they have split into some categories. So we have something like compute. What compute will do, right, it will create some virtual machines. Okay, compute is mainly for like creating the VMs or deploying something. Okay, you have something like Kubernetes, you have something like app service. Okay, app service is nothing but a platform as a service. Okay, and if you have this VM, no, that is the infrastructure as a service. If you go to here, no, you are having some products related to services related to IoT. So like that you will be having like innumerous. Here you are having some related to media, you are having some related to DevOps, you are having some databases. Okay, these are the databases that are being supported in the Azure. If I see here, no, there is a big list. Okay, it doesn't mean, right, every region will be having the same set, all the components or all the services. Okay, so if I go here, no, select, if I go to the products by region page, here it will give you a like mapping of what is the region you are selecting, means which region you are selecting and what are the services that are available. If you go to this machine learning, Azure machine learning, it is present in central India. Okay, it is present in central India, but it is not present in South India and West India. Okay, and it is present in some other regions. So we have to, whenever you are deploying some application or whenever you are thinking of opting one service, right, you have to make sure like that first job is like whether that corresponding service exists in that particular region. This is the first check. If you want to launch one project, okay, you want to launch one project in some South India, okay, or there is something like Azure Databricks, okay, and here there is one data center called as like US West, US Central West. So if your client application is region is belonging to this, right, you have to take a call whether if he is opting for Databricks, right, Databricks, you have to make sure like that particular service is available in that particular region. So if it is an US region, it doesn't mean, right, it will have all the services, because you see right here HealthBot is missing in North Central US. Okay, but our assumption will be like if some in US it will be, you will be having all the services, right? It is wrong. So you have to make sure like you have to check while opting for the new services, but core services you will have everywhere. So it is till it is expected in Q4 2021. This speech services is expected in South India in 2021. Like that, you can go through this page. It will give you a overview of what will be present. Even if you take like virtual machines or some other services, no, it will give you like you have to select. So these are the different types of instances types in the sense like this is more specified for the job profile you are hosting, whether you want DB servers or like your gaming infrastructure, or like you are hosting some Amazon Prime or something, no, video services or those, no, each one will have different infrastructure or instance types. Okay, like that you will be having multiple options. Okay, hope you understood what is region. Region is nothing but a geographical area which will be having one or more data centers. Okay, and one key takeaway is each region, okay, is like Azure is connected with like Azure's own network. Okay, it is not internet, the data won't flow via internet. They will be having dedicated network to transfer the data between their regions. And second point is like we should make sure like like we should make sure like whatever the service which you are using, that should be present in that particular region. As a solution architect, right, people will be asking you like I want my customer application is deployed here, okay, present in some US South. Okay, I have deployed my application, and his startup is he wants to use some machine learning service which is not available in that particular region, no. So you may end up in that conflicts. So if it is so, what you have to do is you have to choose the nearest region which is okay, that will solve the issue. Okay, okay. So region is a geographical area basically, okay, that is the duplicate site which has like multiple data centers. Now we have something like availability zones. Just now I mentioned something like we will be having like data centers. Availability zone is nothing but a data center. Okay, normally you will be having something like three. Okay, you will be having something like three. In some places you will in some regions, right, you will be having one or two. Why you will be having some three regions means for like high availability. Okay, if one of the data center goes down, what will happen? I have deployed my application in this data center. Unfortunately, due to some power grid issue or some short circuit or whatever the reason, due to some earthquake, this data center went down completely. Then, as your application is hosted in this particular region, now what will happen? It won't be available. So what they will do, right? In one region, they will be having multiple data centers. Okay, and they will be keeping their application in 2-3 data centers, such that if one goes down, the other will be serving your load. Okay, one will be available. Even in the second one also goes down, also not an issue. You'll be having a third copy which will be supporting your load. Okay, if this goes down, you will be having other two. If this goes down, you will be having this availability zone which will be serving the traffic. The key advantage is like the customer will be having the availability. Okay, even one data center goes right, he will be able to access the application. So they will be saying like you will be having some like 99.99% availability, which if you translate right through an year, it is expected like you will be getting some 8 minutes change downtime. Okay, and this availability zones, no, like this data center and this data center will be connected by the backbone network of the Azure. Okay, so it will be like high bandwidth and low latency network, and whatever the resources that are being used in this availability zone won't be used in this one. Means if I'm taking grid, okay, from some like some provider, okay, it can be some provider A, electricity provider A. Here you won't use the same resource, you will take it from the other grid, because if power grid A goes down, right, both the data centers will be down, both the data centers will be affected. So they will make sure like none of the resources whatever are being used, okay, won't be used in the other availability zone, to make sure like everything is independent. So you will be having there should be one question, no? If what happens like if complete that region itself goes down, okay, why this will come into picture is like if you are having some credit cards, okay, yeah, the credit cards, if you see our Amazon.com, which is whose presence is present in across the world, right? Multiple countries are using this one. So you can't expect it any 20 in 24 hours. As I told you, it is like 99.99% available. You can't expect like 8 minutes downtime. Yes or no? In a year, for 8 minutes, if credit card is not working for 5 minutes, no, there will be a lot of confusions, no. There will be some dissatisfaction from the customer. If at like 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. if you are making some transaction, if you are at airport or if you are at some other place, if your card didn't work right, it will be a problem. So what they have come up with, right, for such critical applications, no, what they thought, right, you will be having one region with 3 availability zones. Like that you will couple the regions as well. Means what I will have, right, I will put my application such that if one region goes completely down also, I will be having some other region which will be like serving the load, okay, serving the customer. This is the regional pair. Only the criteria is like each region, right, they should be around like 300 miles away. Okay, if you take like credit card, master, visa, those are there, right? They will be having one data center in US, one data center in India, some one data center in UK, such that like if one goes down also, other would be able to support the low like customer. Okay, and they will make sure like there won't be any interruptions in the service. This is the regional player. So if you want to, first we'll go to this one. I think we are, so if you want to access Azure, no, we have to go to portal portal.azure.com. Okay, I'm clicking. Actually, I have already I'm having that account, so I'm just clicking. Okay, I'm providing my username and password and signing in. So just now I have shown you, right? Once I log into this, right? If I click on this menu, portal menu, if I go to this all services, no, here this is the services, because basically, okay, in the UI also I showed like services, no. If I click on all services, right, here I will be getting the services, the categories, general, okay, and compute will have this virtual machines and Kubernetes services, okay, and networking. So here using these components, no, you can create one network, and you will be having some storage. So there are like multiple options. As basically this is a product, so why we are having these many means, this is a product, it will have 100 options, maybe you will be using one or two based on your need. But what Azure will facilitate, right, it has to support all the customers throughout the globe, right? So they will be providing like multiple options, okay, instead of going to other customer. Now let us assume like I'm having some SQL server, okay, and if I don't provide some NoSQL, now what will happen, some other vendors will, like customers will go to the, they will choose the other option. So basically what they will do, right, they will be providing like multiple options for storage, web, or like containers, such that the customer can use any of the service. If you go to database, right, you will be seeing like you will be having a number of databases. Azure SQL, okay, Azure database for MySQL servers, okay, which will is nothing but the MySQL server, like MySQL server hosted in the Azure. Okay, you have MariaDB outside, here also you will have. So basically they will provide like multiple options. Okay, if they want to use MySQL, they can go for MySQL, or they can go for Maria if it is a NoSQL DB. If the customer wants to opt for this Azure SQL, they can opt for that. Okay, and like that you will be having multiple services in machine learning. For DevOps you will be having, okay, analytics you will be having some services. So one thing is like no one knows everything. Okay, there is no one who knows all these services. Based on your role, okay, you have to choose your like service. Like if you are into some machine learning and AI, you can learn these services. First thing is like this Azure AZ900 and the solution architect, right? They will give you a glimpse of how to use the Azure. Okay, then you can go for this specializations. So if you directly switch to this, right, you won't uh, currently you are working in IoT, okay, but if you directly shift your current infra to cloud, no, basically you will be using these services. Along with this, right, you need to use other services like networking and all those. So if you are working in a specialization also, basically first you should know like core services, okay, core services plus this specialization. If I am a developer, simple example, I am a SQL developer, MySQL developer, and I'm working on premises. Now my project moved to cloud, okay, Azure. Now I have to develop my code, or I have to write my queries, or I have to use my SQL servers, which is hosted in Azure for backups and all those which I use like physical infrastructure. No, that will be handled in a cloud in a different manner. So that how they will know, if they learn this core thing, no, they will be knowing. Okay, and yeah, first we'll go to something which is like easy. This is the compute service. Okay, in compute you will be having virtual machines, which will help you to create a VM basically. Here also what I can do, no, here I can click like if I know the service name, I can directly search it over the search bar. And if I want to create a VM, no, I can click on virtual machine. Okay, now I'm clicking on this one. Now you will be having multiple options like subscription, resource group. Okay, if you see region, no, just now I showed what is region. So basically I will be selecting any one of the region where I want to deploy my application. If I'm a US customer, okay, I can use this one, which is nearest data center for me. I can use that particular region. Okay, and there is something like availability options. just now we discussed about availability zones. No, there are basically 3 availability zones. Means in south, if you are having one data center, okay, it is present in some 3 data center, okay, in south. Okay, so if I'm creating in my application here, no, my application will be created in the data center 1. If I host, if I, while creating the VM, if I selected this option, no, it is getting created in the data center 2. And if I selected this option, then it is getting created in the data center 3. Okay, like that you have to be choosy. Now we'll discuss about like what is subscription, what is resource group. Basically, subscriptions are used for billing. Okay, what they will do, right, they will restrict and they will have limitations on the usage. Okay, so there will be like different types of subscriptions, like you will be having a pay as you go model, or you can be having some free trial. Okay, so I'll search in Google and show you, or I will search here. I can type subscription is also one service. If I click on subscription, no, okay, if I click on add, it will be showing like multiple subscription, like a free trial, like a pay as you go. Okay, something like that. You will be having other subscriptions as well. Okay, you're having some free trial, pay as you go, Azure for students. If you click on offers, right, they have multiple subscriptions. If you are using the Visual Studio Enterprise edition, like subscription, you can choose this one. Okay, Azure Pass sponsorship, like that you will be having multiple certifications. Sorry, this subscriptions. Okay, basically why we these subscription to restrict, okay, or for billing purpose. I will tell one simple example. One example is you are working in some TCS, okay, and it is having all the computers. It will be having like lot of desktops, laptops, servers, no. At the end of the day, every resource like printer or whatever, it is being tagged. Correct? Huh? If I touch one computer, if I set like touch one computer, no, it will, I can say something like it belongs to this project and it is residing in this building, and this is tagged to some project and some owner. Correct? For billability purpose. If I take any server, you will be, everything will be tagged. If you take a printer also, either it will be owned by some infrastructure guys, or it can be owned by the like some team. Okay, and there will be some high consuming like power consuming applications, let us assume. Okay, so there are some like different Oracle REST which consume more power. So that cost will be the cost of that like maintenance, or whatever you call maintenance, or everything should be paid by the project, no. Means that resources are tagged to the project. In the same way, whatever you create in Azure, that should be accountable, that should be tagged to some subscription. Okay, so you will be having something like this. Okay, if you are having some root management group, which is something company. Okay, and in that, right, you will be having multiple streams, like you will be having some human resource, you will be having IT marketing. Okay, you will be having some subscription. When you like nailed on a bit further, okay, you will be having, if you take this production, in this you may have something like geo region and geo region 1 and 2. In that you may have some subscriptions. Basically the billing will be happening in the subscription level. What you want to remember is, for every subscription a billing will be generated. So in one Azure account, you are having some subscriptions like dev subscription, test subscription, and production subscription. Means all the resources which are part of this subscription of this one and this one will be like paid by your company, whereas the production servers may be by the customer, because he will be having his own customer. The customer requirement is, I will be handling the production cost of the prod servers, whereas for dev and test, right, like as part of the project billing, you take care of those billing. Okay, you can have some billing model like that also. Okay, so you, in management groups, no, you will be having like multiple subscriptions. Each subscription will have something like resource groups, and resource group will have resource. Just now I told you, no, if you are in your company on premises, if you are having some server which is handling the database, either that will be tagged to some project, or it will be tagged to some name, or it can be tagged to some like project, in the sense like it will be tagged to the project manager only. No, they won't tag the project name. At the end of the day, project won't have any existence, right? Project means you will have a manager who will be tagged, okay, for that ownership. In the same way, all the resources, whenever you create a VM, there will be, you will be creating virtual machines, you will be creating a database and all those, no, all these form as one group. Okay, you can use something like this. I'll tell you, I'll show you it. Okay, in another model, what I can do, no, here you have 3 subscriptions, no. Here my present is across US, okay, and India. What I will do now, here I will be having one resource group. Okay, here also I will have one resource group. 2 resource groups I'm having. Test also I'm having 2 resource group. Here also I'm having some 2 resource groups. Here no, I will be having US resource group. This is the US resource group, and here I will be having Indian team resource group. Means in dev subscription, you will be having a resource groups which contains US hosted servers. Here you will be having some resource group which contains the services which are hosted in India, but the billing will be done in this dev subscription. If Amazon is there, okay, their presence is in US and India. So for their teams will, development team will be in US and India. If they, for themselves also they have to pay, right? For as part of their subscription, they will be like splitting like geographically or something like that, so they can create a resource group. So what happens, right, if I delete this resource group, right, complete resources whatever I created, right, in one shot will be deleted. Like that, instead of deleting each and every one component, if I'm doing one POC, okay, in dev subscription I'm doing one POC, okay, what I will do, right, I will align all the resources whatever I create under this resource group. If I delete this resource group, right, complete, it will like delete all the like instances, servers, or whatever you create. Okay, you will understand it better when I show the demo. Basically you understood now what is subscription and resource group. So when we go to this lab, okay, so here I'm having one subscription. Okay, under that subscription now I can create a new resource group. I'm creating a resource group as demo, and here I'm giving some name. Now I want to host my application somewhere. Okay, so I want to host this application in East US. Okay, before that I will explain. I'll take MS Paint. Okay, basically this is my cloud. What I'm currently doing is I'm the user. What I selected is I have selected I have selected one subscription. Okay, in that I am collecting some resource group. Okay, now I have logged in. Now I want to create a VM. Basically in cloud, where I have to do it is simple logic. If you think logically, if you want to create one VM in office, no, one in server in office without cloud, what you need basically, you need something like some hardware, means CPU, RAM, okay, and storage. When it comes to software, once the storage is ready, you will be having some OS. You will be installing some OS. Okay, like it can be like a Linux, or it can be Windows, or some other versions. Like in Windows also you are having multiple flavors, no? In Linux also you are having multiple flavors, and you will be selecting some network. So if you are creating one via like machine in server in your on premises in your office, you will attach, you will install, and you will attach to some LAN, no? You will attach to some project, so that that project resources will use that the VM, means like if you have an application installed on it, right, that will be access to that project. So in the same way, you will be having some network team, and what you will create some credentials. Okay, username and password you will give. What else you will give in on premises? Can you think? What else you will have? You can type, or what else you will give apart from this in on premises?
And the software that the user requirement,
Yeah. So
it is
bare
installed
means like
manually, or it
OS.
will be.
I will explain. Like in on premises, I'm saying we till now we didn't enter into cloud. Okay, software installation, fine.
Okay,
What else?
okay, managing network software.
And you will assign some IP address and all those that will be coming under network.
uh,
What else you will have? Software installation is second part. Till now, right, we are just installing one OS and giving. Okay, it is up to the user. Based on his need, you can use it. You will be opening some ports. Okay, you will be having some firewalls, right? Or you will be having ports. Okay, these days, right, they won't give the application or the OS as such, no? If your application is doing meant for only MySQL installation, no, then you will enable only MySQL installation and SSH port. Only those two things you will enable. You won't enable all the FTP and all those, right? So that is part of hardening process. So that you will do in the same way. Whatever we are doing in on-premises, no, same thing you have to do it in the cloud, but via console or via some like a command line or SDK. So in UI, right, I will be selecting all this. Till now, I have selected something like region. Okay. Now I have logged in as a user. I have one subscription group. Now I will do, right, what I will do, right, I will be having one region. Under this region, I will be having some 3 availability zones. There is a -1. Okay. Now for a change, I will be creating one VM here. This is my VM. Okay. I'm installing one Windows VM. Okay, now I have selected one region. In availability options, I have selected availability zone. Here I am having some three options. I am selecting the first one as per my diagram. Okay, now I have selected my availability zone, means data center, and now I am going with the software. So what is the operating system I need? I'm selecting Windows. There are multiple flavors. Actually, if you click on this all images, right, you will be having a wide variety. It will show. Here we are having some services, right? For analytics, it supports different. Okay. For a machine learning, there are multiple. Okay. For DevOps, you are having some other stuff like CentOS, Salt Stack, or whatever. I'm closing this. Now I want to install Windows. I'm selecting Windows. This is the software configuration which I have selected. Okay, here I am selecting something like hardware configuration. So if I expand this now, you will be getting a big chunk. For now, right, what I will do, right, I will select this. Okay, I will select this standard, or I will select this one. Fine, it should be fine. And as I mentioned, I will be giving the credentials. I will be selecting. Okay, now I have choosing the username and password for this Windows machine. Okay, there is something like inbound ports for the VM which is present in this particular availability zone or in this particular region or cloud, right? Basically, the default thumb rule is every cloud provider will block the incoming traffic and allow all the traffic which is outgoing. Means if you by default there won't be any port enabled. So you know, right, the communicate, if it is a, if you want to like SSH, you should have SSH port. If you are sending some MySQL now, you should have 3306. So you will connect to the server using that particular port. Each service will have one particular port. Even HTTP has 180, HTTPS has like a 443. Like that, if you by default everything will be blocked, all inbound. Okay, will be blocked, and all outbound will be allowed by default. So if I am why? Because this is for security. I am here installing my MySQL server, but if I put all the ports open, what will happen? Hacker, as the system is present in cloud, he may take control. He may try to hack, attempt to hack and hack the system. That's why if I'm using MySQL, then I will be only using the MySQL port. Currently, I want to log into this machine. That is only my requirement. I will be selecting SSH port. So this is a like a Windows based, right? For now, right, I can select RDP because I want to do MSTSC. If this MySQL has this server has SSH server inside, now I can log in via command line, but it is a remote desktop. For Linux based, I can select SSH. For this one, as this is a Windows machine, I am selecting the RDP. Okay, I'm clicking on next. So here I'm selecting the storage. There will be different types of storages that will be available, like SSDs, standard SSD, premium SSD, and like you will be having like standard HDD. Okay, so based on your need, you will be selecting. Okay, so we are running out of time. Okay, so the thing is, like, if you want to take up backups and all those, no, then you can go with this one. If you are installing some databases, okay, which requires high input output operations, so for IRCTC application, no, you will be having high IO during the Tatkal time or busy hours or whatever. So for those models, no, which require some database, right, then you can go with the premium. For web application, like light application, web servers and all those, right, you can use this standard SSD. So Azure has provided multiple options based on the need. Okay, if I'm storing some backups on a premium SSD, right, it is not cost effective. Okay, if I'm storing some terabytes of data on a premium SSD, I will be charged more. So basically, based on the need, you have to be choosing. In exams also, they will ask like, I want to take backup. Which one you, which disk type you will suggest? Okay, then you have to say like this SSD should be fine. Means okay, and premium SSD in networking. This is the networking. In networking, I told right IP. So there will be like two IPs that will be present. One is like public IP and one is the private IP. If I'm creating an instance in cloud, what the IP, this is a network and all those. What basically what is happening? Right, it will create a separate network for us. Okay, here whether I want a IP address, public IP, yes means you have to select this one. Okay, if you don't want public IP, then you can select this one. If I don't give this public IP, right, this machine you can't access via internet. Okay, if it is hosted in cloud, then you should have a public IP such that we can access. Okay, this private IP and all those we'll use, I will tell you in future. Okay, and monitoring. Okay, this one if you want to take backups and all those, right, that for now, right, just leave it. Advanced also leave it, tax leave it. Yeah, so basically now what is happening, you have done some like configuration. Okay, with this configuration, right, what Azure is doing now, here you are seeing like validation passed. Okay, what is happening in the background, right, whenever I click on create, okay, whenever I click on create here, what will happen, right, there will be something like Azure Resource Manager. The call will go to the Azure Resource Manager. From portal, I'm triggering this to Azure Resource Manager. This Azure Resource Manager is responsible for creating the resources, like either it will create virtual machines or something like databases or web apps or other services, right? Basically, this fellow is responsible. Azure Resource Manager is responsible for creating the infrastructure. Now I am creating via UI, but the same thing you can do it via like Azure PowerShell or Azure CLI or using the REST clients. Okay, now if I click on create, no, what will happen? This Azure Resource Manager will come into picture and he will be creating the infrastructure in the background. Okay, these are the resources. For one VM creation, right, we need multiple resources. Okay, if I do a refresh, you will be having something like disks, network cards, VMs that will be created, and the network, public IP. So if I click on here, no, you will be having some deployment is in progress. So it has created one IP, it has created one network, it has created one. Okay, 1 second, let me close this. Yeah. Okay, it is created one network, it has created some network security group, it has created one like a public IP. Like that, it will create whatever is required, resources required for creating that VM.
So when we try to log into Azure and we create a virtual machine, then there was some cost like 17,000 or something.
For
So
first year, right, you can
it
use
will be
750
free.
hours.
Sorry,
First year, you will be getting some 750 hours. 750
free.
hours you can use free. Yeah. But make
750.
sure like
And then
then you will be charged. Make
And
sure
then,
like you stop the VM
okay,
once you use it,
okay. Mm-hmm.
then you won't be
Right.
charged. Today am I fast? Okay, yeah. So it is creating a virtual machine. First it created a network, it created some security group, it created some like a IP address, then it is creating the VM. So see, it has created this stuff. Now I will be getting two options like go to resource or go or create another VM. I will go to resource. Okay, this is the public IP. Okay, this is the public IP. This will be the private IP. Okay, now if I want to connect now, I can click on connect and I can, as it is a Windows machine, I can click on RDP. Okay, and I have to download my file, this RDP file. Now what I can do, right? I can provide the username and password. Now I'm logging to this cloud machine. So now what will end is, now I have created a VM and I have logged in. Now if you are a developer, you can install your SDK or you can install your Windows application. If you are a tester, no, you can log in and you can create your automation suite or whatever. Okay, so basically this lab will facilitate how to create a VM. Okay, once you create a VM, right, once you access it, it is up to you how to use it. Either you can install your web application or you can install your SQL server. This remains the same, no? In on-premises also, the core, if you want to install a MySQL server, you can install it and you can use it. Okay, maybe you have to or like do some extra configuration to enable the ports. That is only required. Now I have logged in to this machine. Once I log into this machine, now basically what will happen, right? I will be getting, if I go to this PC, I will be getting some storage and I will be getting some temporary storage. Some temporary storage, what happens, right? Whenever you reboot a VM or something, right? What happens, right? This data which is present in this will be gone. So like maybe make sure like if you reboot, this is gone. Okay, so make sure like you store your data here itself. If I create some file over here and some file over here, if I simply reboot my machine, what is going to happen, right? The data which I created here, no, that will be lost. Okay, some if you want to keep the files, okay, which are not at all required, you can use it, but make sure you don't like put whatever the necessary files in temporary storage. Okay, you have to use only the C drive. Okay, and there are other options like to add additional storage. Now I have C drive. Now I am deploying an application in D drive. So if you want to do, right, you can do it. Okay, you can create some D, E, F, something like that. You can create multiple drives by adding the additional storage. Okay, yeah, that's it. Any doubts? Now you know like how to log in to the server, no? And like after logging in, you can do whatever you want. It becomes like normal Windows server. Any doubts?
No, sir.
I think I'm faster today, no? A bit due to
That's okay.
Yeah, like normally I won't be bit slow, but today, right, actually it is, I covered, normally it will be like 2 classes I will take. So I'll be a bit slow.
So, sir, when from which day regular class will be start?
From Wednesday, like there will be 2 or 3 demos. I am not sure. Like two, I believe, 2 or 3. After
Okay.
that, two, I believe. Like they will reach you, and after that you will be having the daily classes. So mostly, someone asked like what we will be teaching, right? This is the.
Okay.
I'll be discussing the cloud basics, okay, and Azure basics. Like you will be having something like creating a VIA account and all those, and compute resources like how to create a VM and how to create a extra disk like C drive or D drive with some capability, okay, and resizing. So different types of virtual images, okay, availability sets, availability scale sets, okay, like assigning the static IP address, and you have something like networking. We'll be seeing this one, okay, like right from scratch, like how creating your own network. You can't put your application in cloud as such, no. So if you are like how you will be having your office, you will be having some VLAN, right? In same VLAN you will be having your application server and the, like, I think you know, right, there will be something like VLAN in on premises which will create a virtual network. You will be having like multiple VLANs. That's how your these are connected. Okay, 1 second. If you are working in some project, okay, but what happens, right? Your company, like if you are working for TCS, it will have insurance projects, it will have banking projects, it will be having healthcare projects. How they are separated? You can't ping to someone who is present in other project, you know. That ODC will be different, right? Even though that is your office, logically they are all separated. I believe you understood, no? So the separation is done by the VLAN. Here also you will be having a virtual network. It is same as VLAN, which will create a isolated network.
And how much time it will take, sir, to complete the
30 to
syllabus?
40, 30 to 40 days, 45 days it will take. But if I take theory also, right, it will be more. If I dictate theory, what is availability zone, and I will give some material which will be sufficient, okay. So if I take all, like if I dictate, give the definitions, right, it will kill a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is something you will have like this. In here you will be having some
So,
network. This will be one network, this will be one network, this will be connected to some switch and router, and from there you will be going to internet. So but this will and this will want to communicate, okay. So you will be having some VLAN which will be like isolated, which acts as an isolated network, okay. Like that you will be having virtual networks, okay. Yeah, like that you will be having some storage and Active Directory. This one I will take a bit extra, okay. So this, if you have hold on this, now you will be strong in this Azure administrator also. Mostly Azure administrator will play with this service, Active Directory service. You will be having some MySQL and app service, okay. Only whatever are difficult are network and Active Directory, okay. These are all small only, okay. Only those two are important. Rest all is like use very easy bit, okay guys. Any questions? If you don't have any doubts, I can wind up.
sir, a little bit confusion is like between AWS and Azure. That which one should be
Okay,
better for
so
coming?
the thing is, yeah, that's a good question. AWS is good at infrastructure as a service. Okay, it is a core capability. I told in one diagram. If you want OS, right from OS if you want, then infrastructure as a service, no, AWS is better. For platform as a service project, no, Azure is best. You won't have these many capabilities in AWS. Okay, I'm certified in both. Okay, so I know, I can correlate and I can tell you these many options you won't have in AWS. Okay, it is like bit user friendly, but Amazon, right? Amazon is like since it is like in the market since decade. It is more than decade it was in market, no, like whoever comes, no, he will be having major market share. Okay, and he will stagnate and the competitors will come and pitch in and they will take the control, no. Yes or no? The same way,
Yes,
like
yes.
yeah, so infrastructure as a service, right? If someone wants to go for infrastructure as a service, they will go with AWS. Now if they want platform as a service, like if, then they will go with this one,
Okay.
Azure. So both are same. If you know one, other is easy only. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
if
Okay.
the concept will be same, region will be same, availability zone, the terminology. Here you will call VM, there you will call instance. Here you will call virtual network, there you will call VPC. Okay, so for every service the
Mm-hmm.
name may change, the core concept will remain same. While doing lab also, the logic is same. If you understand the
Okay.
logic and what you are doing, it remains same. Okay, like Azure is like bit advanced, if I want to say, right? Here there is something like AD which you don't have in AWS.
Okay.
Here if you are having some 10 services, right, there
Mm.
they will teach 5 services or 4 services.
Mm.
You will get some, you will learn some 2 3 services which are extra than AWS.
So logic will be same and
Same,
the
everything
user interface will be different.
different. This names will be different, no?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Extra
Okay.
navigations here, like you see so many options here, no, there you will be seeing less options. In 1 month, no, you can do more
Mm.
labs in Azure than AWS in the same class or same course. If you will find more what to say labs in Azure than AWS.
Azure.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Okay, if you see the pricing also, Azure is more than AWS, right?
Mm.
Okay guys,
Okay, sure.
yeah, so you can enroll. Okay, you would
Thank you.
leave this to me. Okay, if you don't understand, I will retake the class. Okay, not an issue.
Sure, sir.
Normally it will be like slower only. Today, right, I was a bit fast because some people already attended, no, that's why I was a bit fast.
I had sent a mail to like admin team who is managing the mail, and
Mhm.
multiple time asking for like when the class will be started, but nobody is like sharing a proper answer, exact date
Okay, I will speak
in
with
the
them.
class.
Yeah, okay, you can
So,
drop your mail ID or like phone number here.
okay, okay, just a minute, sir.
So I will like contact them. I'll ask.
Mine also same problem, sir.
Yeah, you can give your mobile number or you can give your email ID. Okay, so I will ask them to reach to you. Okay, you can drop in that mail ID. Sorry, in the chat window.
Yes, sir, just a minute, sending.
Yeah.
Send, sir.
Okay. Okay. Others? Madhu, you can drop your email ID. When I ask, like, people are saying, like, while registering, like, people are providing dummy numbers, so they are unable to contact, something like that.
No, sir. Actually, the thing is, I am in Nepal currently,
Okay.
so my Indian number is not activated because due to COVID, from a long
Okay.
time I am in
Okay.
Nepal.
Got it. Got it.
So
Okay.
after next week, maybe I will be moved in India. Then my
Okay.
SIM card will be activated.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Like, are you dropping any mail IDs, or just shall I wind up? Or you can, I will.
That's it, sir.
You can. I'm sending my mail ID. Okay. You can send your what to say, your mail ID to here, so that I will ask the team to reach out to you. Okay. Thank you.
Sure, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.